What is up, YouTube? It's Ashton Phoenix. Welcome back to my channel where we are reborn, unbothered, and opinionated. Today, we're going to dive into the world of The Last of Us and Bella Ramsey. Let's spark it up. What is up, risers? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I wanted to dive into The Last of Us and talk about Bella Ramsey and that scene in The Last of Us. Unfortunately, I feel like Bella Ramsey has received a lot of hate online. I'm going to use a phrase that I feel like is so overused on the internet right now, and that is, the hate is so forced. The hate is so forced on Bella Ramsey. I kind of agree a little bit with it. I think it might be a little bit forced. The internet's been a little bit mean, a little bit savage. I'm all about having a good time and having some fun. But I also like to try and see both sides of things, and I feel like the hate might be a little bit forced, and I think a lot of it has to do with that one scene in The Last of Us. If you haven't watched The Last of Us, you might be living under a rock, or you realize that, spoiler alert, Joel is dead, and after that scene, you just didn't want to watch anymore. Much like a lot of viewers, I haven't played the game myself, so I didn't know the story of The Last of Us. I didn't know what was going to happen, but the internet ruined it for me. And honestly, my husband and I, it took a couple weeks before we watched the episode where Joel's untimely demise happens. And I was not ready for it. I was like, I am not emotionally prepared or equipped to handle this death right now. I just wasn't ready. I didn't want to do it because we're fans of Pedro Pascal. We enjoy watching things he's in, and he's just such a likable human and character and everything that he's been in. So, of course, when we knew that was going to happen, I wasn't ready. I don't think he was ready either, but we finished the series, we watched it. And what I really want to dive into is scripts and the writing and how I feel like a lot of hate towards Bella comes with the script of her saying, I'm going to be a dad? Okay, so let's kind of go back here a little bit. As an actor, Bella Ramsey has been in the field for a while. I actually lived under a rock and I did not watch Game of Thrones, so I never saw it. I know. You can hate me, it's fine. You can force the hate on me for not watching it, but I never watched it. My husband did, if that counts, but I never watched the show. But obviously, Bella Ramsey's been an actor. She's been around for a long time. She's done a lot of work. And obviously has been in two really big HBO projects, or should I say Max projects. So kudos to Bella. That's awesome and amazing. As someone who, let's say, is starting out as an actor, when you get an audition, you get what's called a side. And the sides will have the script. That's basically what it is. You're getting the script, but it's called sides because you're just getting a couple of pages of what you're going to be auditioning for. So when you get the script, you might have an idea of the synopsis of the story. Sometimes you're given a little breakdown of what it is that you're auditioning for. But most of the time, you really don't know a lot about the character's backstory, their history, not much about them except for what's written on the paper. Now, when you get into filming and then you get the entire script, you can see a little bit more. I would say most actors probably don't get that privilege of getting a full script unless you're someone like Brad Pitt or Meryl Streep or Jennifer Aniston. You're getting a full script and you get to see kind of what you're walking into. And as an actor, you are reading the dialogue that is written in the script. That is what the writer wrote. That is the story that they want to tell. They are a host essentially for the script. Now, I would say most times actors do not really have a say in anything that can be done or changed. Again, they're the vessel. They're there to perform the work. They're directed on what to do. Sometimes they're given line reads on how to say something. Sometimes they're given the opportunity to just say however it comes. And that's what happens when you're doing multiple takes. A line read, let's say for somebody who's never gone to an audition before or has never been in a show, performance, film, theater, television, whatever it is, a line read could be, you would say, the sky is blue today. The sky is blue today? So you're just changing the way you say it, asking it more of a question rather than a statement. So a line read is somebody telling you specifically how to say something when it could just come naturally. Oh, the sky is blue today. And you're just saying it. You learned a lot of that in acting class, which I've had the privilege of taking, and I love it. It's a really cool feeling when you get into a class. One of the classes that I did, we would get a script and we would have a week to memorize our lines. You were given a scene partner. But the key was you didn't get to practice. You're not supposed to meet outside of class. You're not supposed to call each other up. You are supposed to memorize the sides, your script, and when you come to class, you get together and you perform that script unrehearsed with one another. And so it's a really cool opportunity because the feelings come completely natural. You go through the entire script. Usually if you have a good instructor, they'll let you do it through once, and then they'll come through and then they'll make some tweaks and say, okay, why don't you try this time? Or I want you to think about this. And it can completely change the dynamic of the story that you're trying to tell. Now, when it comes to The Last of Us, the hate is forced on Bella Ramsey. I feel like the internet wants to hate her so much, and I don't know why. I will say my jaw dropped on the floor. I'm surprised I didn't need surgery to get it back into place when she said, I'm going to be a dad. We both cackled. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. My husband and I both cackled because previous to that, prior to Bella saying, I'm going to be a dad, the characters of Ellie and Dina have just had some serious sex. And so when that happened, I was like, does Ellie want to see the baby or literally feel the baby? Because my eyeballs, I think, popped out of my head. Now, I'm not against PDA or sex in films. That doesn't bother me. However, it was almost too intense and too aggressive. It was like, oh, okay, what is happening here? What is happening here? And then, you know, obviously they did their thing, and then Dina shows the pregnancy tests after, post-coitus, and they're having a good time relaxing together. It makes me happy that they had a intimacy coordinator on set. I think that's a really great thing to have. The two actresses talked about how beautiful the scene was, and they felt very comfortable together, which is great because that can be intimidating, if you will, because you have a ton of people around you. There's somebody behind the camera. There's somebody directing you on what to do, how to position your body. And actors do a really good job of making love scenes look good and comfortable, but guarantee behind the scenes, there's people staring. I mean, they're not emotionally in that situation, I would say, for the most part. Sometimes maybe it happens on accident, but for most of these scenes, you're in your head, you're thinking about, how do I look? How am I positioned? Are the angles right? Is this good? It looked pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie. This scene looked pretty intense. They both did a really good job of making it look accurate, I guess, and real. But after that, I think is where the internet kind of lost its mind. And let's watch a little clip of that real quick.
I'm gonna be a dad. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that line delivery and the hate that is happening towards Bella right now because of that line delivery. I'm assuming that's where all this hate is stemming from, is I think from this episode. We have to remember, Bella didn't write the script. Someone else wrote the script. I don't know if it was in the game. I have no clue. I didn't play the game, but Bella didn't write the script. So to hate on somebody for saying a line that was written for them to say, it's not really accurate. I think more so we could hate on the writer and be like, really, that's what you put in there? That's what you put in there. It's not Bella's fault. Bella's just the actor, the vessel in which the lines are delivered and said, and is being directed to do so in a certain way. So I don't think that we can hate on Bella for this. This is something that we can look at the writers and maybe go, maybe you could have gone a different route. I don't know. Again, I didn't play the game. I don't know how close to the game that this is. All I know is that I am upset that Pedro was taken from us too soon, and I'm upset about it. And if you're laughing at the way I said Pedro, you can continue laughing because I'm never going to get it right. Okay, so we've got that. Let's talk about the memes. This meme upsets me so much because one of my favorite TV shows is King of Queens, and I'm very upset that I cannot buy it on iTunes and that I can't own it. I have the DVD box set and I can watch it on Peacock, but why can't I buy it on iTunes? The King of Queens. You all know the meme, right? I would love to know what Kevin James thinks about this meme. By the way, Kevin James, come back to YouTube. You did a lot of YouTube during COVID. Come back. We loved your shorts. But how does Kevin James feel about this meme? It's so perfectly executed. It's so well done. It looks like this is actually a real photo. AI and Photoshop is getting a little scary with how accurate things are. But this is too perfect. This is the face. Now, I am not for bullying. I feel like this kind of borders on the line of bullying a little bit. But I will say, I have to give credit where credit is due with creativity. It's funny. And then you have this, I'm gonna be a dad. Oh my goodness. They just get bad. It's sad. That one just looks more like Shrek than anything. That doesn't look like Bella. So Bella's getting hate about the dad memes, right? But now the other thing that people are talking about is that Bella looks like a potato, which we have to remember. Bella is a real person with real feelings. And as an actor, you do have to have a strong, thick outer layer. Otherwise, the internet, the media, people will tear you apart. They will lift you up just to bring you back down again, to lift you up and do the same thing. It's almost like you become this punching bag. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's what you got into. You decided to be an actor, and so you deserve it essentially, which I don't agree with that either. I think that when you put yourself out there on video, even doing YouTube, you are opening yourself up for people to criticize you and to talk about the way you look or the way you sound or the way you dress, whatever it may be. They will do whatever they can to tear you down. And I will say that's part of the reason why I got a rhinoplasty. I did it for functionality, but I also did it for looks because I was doing a lot of self-tapes during 2020 and I hated the way my nose looked in videos. That was all I was focused on rather than my acting ability. That's why I had plastic surgery. Again, I did it for functionality, but I also did it because I wasn't happy with how it looked. A lot of actors, that's why you see them, they get these surgeries, they get all these things done, because if they don't, the media tears them apart. The public tears them apart. You see one minor wrinkle or a mole or something on their face that isn't normally seen because I think beauty vision standards are skewed. People will go to great lengths to avoid wrinkles and lack skin so they can fit in, so they don't get the hate, but they end up getting hated anyways because I had plastic surgery. But calling Bella Ramsey a potato head, I mean, that's got to be hard. Right, you're starting out as a spud of an actor, and then you're getting mashed with these memes. Let's look at them again. I have to give credit where credit is due on creativity, but it's a little mean. I mean, hopefully she's looking at it and she's laughing and taking it in stride. Bella's laughing all the way to the bank. Let's be real here. You know, all the people who have made these, they're the ones, you know, sitting and laughing, but she's laughing at the bank. So, you know, kudos to her. So we've got the last of potato, Bella surrounded by potatoes, a basket of potatoes. I think this is one of my favorite memes because it looks real. First of all, the actress who plays Dina, she's stunning. She's beautiful. She's like a mixture of Vanessa Hudgens, and I don't know who else, but she looks like a young Vanessa Hudgens. So really, at the end of the day, I think we need to cut Bella Ramsey some slack and remind ourselves she didn't write the script. She's just a vessel delivering the dialogue and being directed to do so in a certain way. Whether we like it or not, that's the script, that's the story, and Bella's laughing all the way to the bank. Maybe we calm down on the hate a little bit and stop forcing it so much. But tell me your thoughts. I want to know what you think out there. Have you ever been given a script or a side and you're like, what is this? Am I actually saying this? Have you had the opportunity to change a script? Have you had the opportunity to give suggestions to do something a little bit different? When you're auditioning for things and being an actor, I'm here to be the vessel. I'm here to perform what's written on the paper. And if I don't agree with what's written on the paper, maybe I shouldn't audition. Or if I know the story, maybe I shouldn't audition for it. But who am I to say, oh, we need to change the dialogue. We need to do something different. I'm not going to do that. That's not for me. Tell me if you've ever had a time when you've had a script, you've wanted to change it. Were you able to make changes? How did that go? In my opinion, if I am being paid to do this performance, I'm being paid for my skills as an actor, and I'm going to do the script, and they can allow me a little bit of freedom to play the character and to kind of explore it. But if they want it done a certain way, guess what? That's what you're getting paid to do. And that's something that maybe should be discussed a little bit further before you get into things. If you don't agree with the material or you don't want to do what's written, that should all be done beforehand. So let's cut Bella some slack. Let me know in the comments kind of what your thoughts are. Did you finish the season? Are you looking forward to season 3? Do you play the game? Tell me what your thoughts are. And Pedro Pascal, Daddy.
Yep. I am your cool slutty daddy.
We love you, we miss you, and we loved you coming back in the little snippets in the show, and maybe we'll see him again in season 3. Who knows? But I can't wait for his next project. Can't wait for season 3. Let's talk about it. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, YouTube.